We still have a current tornado warning at the moment, but if you're south of the Tennessee River, your threat for severe weather not completely over, but at least it's temporarily subsided right now. Just some heavy rainfall, maybe some brief gusty winds, but again, the main impact for severe storms continues to ride along southern Middle Tennessee and also the far northern edge of Alabama. We will continue to monitor updates for a new watch potentially downstream for northeast Alabama. Again, this covers parts of Jackson County, right where our high top radar is, but no new updates on that just yet. Still a lot of lightning in and around Lewisburg, Shelbyville, close to Tullahoma. This tornado warning, northern Madison County and into Lincoln and Moore County, Tennessee. This is going to continue through the next 30 minutes, and it's not really showing signs of weakening. So if I had to guess that we'll continue down the line, I'm going to go ahead and do a quick storm track on this.
Yeah, Chelsea, that's a great call what you just said, because the National Weather Service literally just said exactly what you were saying, is that the rotation near Fayetteville continues to be a concern. The tornado warning will be allowed to continue, and good call right there on that. It's still strong at this point as it continues to move north and east. Yeah,
Jeff, it's just really not showing any signs of weakening. Now, granted, it's not intensifying either. Don't think that two things can't be true at the same time. It's just maintaining intensity basically as it pushes to the east, which will be concerning for places down the line, especially Winchester, Estill Springs, down into Franklin County there. But this is just a large heads up for you because it's still well back into Fayetteville and portions of Lincoln County. I apologize. I don't know why it keeps drawing like that. And I'm just going to put it at 45 miles per hour. So Huntland, Tennessee, within the next 20 minutes, 12:23, if it keeps on that easterly track. Winchester down the road, 12:34. That's nearly 30 minutes of lead time. Deckard, 12:36. And then continuing in far southern Middle Tennessee, it's going to be 12:42, 12:48, so closer to 1 o'clock in the morning. And it's almost as if this northern edge of the line versus the southern extent, it kind of has a more fastward speed or forward momentum, should I say. It's moving a little bit quicker than the rest of that line, Jeff, which may be adding to potentially damaging wind gusts and or the potential for a potential tornado that we continue to track. Some of that rotation just to the south of Fayetteville there.
Yeah, you speed it up, you spin it around a little more, or you add a little wind from the top, and either way it causes some damage. I wanted to kind of get a look out. So you're covering that tornado warning. Chelsea's all over that. We're in Lincoln County and northern portions of Madison. I just want to give you a big old broad look at what's happening right now. There are some showers developing in Coleman and up towards Huntsville right now. If you are east in Jackson, DeKalb County, you are not in a watch at this time, and you are just waiting for the system to get here. Now there's heavy rainfall on the backside of where we've already had damage. So not only do you have damage, but now you still have heavy rain falling from the Athens area back into Rogersville, all the way down to Phil Campbell, Russellville. If you're in Moulton, some heavy rainfall. I'm going to just add one more thing, and I wanted to add a little bit of lightning to this because what we're seeing is a big tone down, except for the area in Lincoln County now. That's still an area of concern, but seeing a little bit more lightning develop off to the south and west towards Russellville area. I really thought this area was going to start to see a little bit more in the way of development, but it's been okay. It's just mainly rain with some wind. Haven't seen much in the way of any kind of rotation. What we have seen has been very broad, but still some very heavy rainfall, some gusty winds. And if you have not had rain or you have not had a storm yet, these are all going to move to the east, and you're still going to get a fair share of rain tonight. In fact, some areas may have a little too much rain at one time by the time we get to Sunday morning, where we could be talking another element of severe weather, and that would be potential for flash flooding into the early mornings hours on Sunday.
Yeah, Jeff, sinks of lightning, heavy downpours. I think some of these storms, especially on the southern edge, now crossing into Morgan County there and down the line toward Coleman County. Those could be strong. Can't rule out some gusty winds with these as well, but not seeing them reach severe criteria, at least in the now future. The main severe threat still remains with this storm. Again, we do have a tornado warning. It goes through the next 30 minutes. I did a storm track through portions of Franklin County. Main area of rotation, I'm going to get closer and do kind of a street view here. It's still in and around the Fayetteville area. It's not all that, again, tight. The shear rate really picked up right here. But it's still something that we want to watch. And I'm going to look at this feature. Just looked interesting. It was in northern Madison County. Again, worst of that storm still remains in central Lincoln County, now just due east of Fayetteville, and we'll go into it real quick. Just want to get a sample on some of these winds coming through. Showing 55, 60 miles per hour. Even if a tornado is not happening, granted these winds are extremely strong, straight line damaging wind gusts could cause even more damage sometimes than a weak low end tornado because it covers a more widespread swath of an area. So keep that in mind. Even if we do not see a tornado with this and that warning was just trimmed closer to Bellevue. And if you live in northern Madison County, again, the worst of this storm is due to your north. Heads up Huntland, Deckard, Winchester, Estill Springs down the line. This will be coming your way here as we head throughout the next 30 minutes or so, give or take. Still watching the potential for this rotation to strengthen. You're seeing those pockets of high shear right along where the winds are basically the highest. But
I'm so sorry.
No, you're fine. I was just going to say nothing too completely concerning at the moment, Jeff, at least with that area of rotation.
Yeah, I might be seeing it just back off just a little bit. And I think that's really good news, and hopefully that will continue to be the trend. But I'm just going to give a quick update. We're getting reports now over 2,000 people without power in the Rogersville area, and then that's south of 72. That's going to cover the Killen area. Also, that area seems like it has been hit hard, whether it was a tornado or whether it was straight line winds. But from Killen to Rogersville, we have another report, and this is on Malibu Lane, and this is from a ham operator. And this is right by County Road 33. So that puts it by, I think that's Houston Town Road, if I remember correctly. And that would be, that's essentially a residential area. And there are large trees blocking that roadway. So from 72 south, if you were to take that and you get by Firefly Farms, everyone knows where that is, right? That takes you right down to where you get down to Muscle Shoals Sailing Club. That is right on the river, right by essentially near Wilson Lake, not too far from the Aqua Vista area. That's the area that we continue to hear about numerous reports of damage in that area. The power outage numbers keep going up. An area that was really hit hard earlier with the storm as it moved through your area. And again, the unfortunateness of not only hearing about the damage reports, but also earlier we got a report, and this was at a trailer park on Wilson Dam Road and by the Abilene Avenue, where there was injuries at that trailer park, and it's still assessing the damage there as well, Chelsea.
Yeah, Jeff, I'm sure we'll get more damage reports. Thank you for giving those just now as we head through the early morning hours on Sunday, and we're going to get a lot more flooding reports as well. The heavy rainfall is going to stay in the same area for several hours as we head throughout the day on Sunday. We're expecting this severe threat to still completely end by Sunday morning, if not right around or before sunrise. However, the rain's going to linger. The rain will linger for some time, likely through the afternoon before ending as we head into the evening hours. A flood watch already in effect, and that's going to last through Sunday evening. Note that this tornado warning, again, main area of rotation we continue to monitor. Now just southeast of Fayetteville. Again, we're watching this entire line right here that has pockets of rotation within it. We'll continue to track to the east, affecting places down the line. Could see that warning extended after it expires at 12:30 for places like Huntland. There is rain ahead of this, though. Really, for the first time ahead of this Boeing segment and this intense feature that we've been watching since it moved in from northwest Alabama, or moved in, should I say, since it developed and materialized. Again, lightning mainly to the north of where the rotation, some of the best rotation exists, removed from it. And just looking at the shear rate, this is where we could see that rotation. I'll go ahead and zoom in. Just due east of Kelso, here's Flintville to the south, Shady Grove Road, Champ Road, Massey Hollow Road, you have Stevens Creek Road, Buntley Hill Road, Cooper Branch, Dry Prong, Marble Hill Road, Oak Grove Road. Again, right there, those are some of the highest shear rates that we're seeing within this. If I'm not mistaken, there's the far edge of that polygon. Yeah, before it starts to transition more into Franklin County. Still watching that feature though. Northern Madison County, you're just going to be seeing a lot of heavy rain. You might hear the thunder in the distance, some lightning going on back here, back towards Limestone County. Still a lot of shear out there.
I think at this point, Chelsea, you're still keeping an eye. As that heavy rain gets to Decatur area, you still got to watch out for maybe a few little spin ups inside that line a little bit. I don't think we're quite out of the woods yet, but overall, I think the velocity scans look pretty promising. Unfortunately, though, we've already had numerous reports of damage and also power outages. Just got an update in the Fayetteville Park City area. 700 outages now in Lincoln County being reported. That was the same exact cell Chelsea was just tracking for you. She's been all over that cell when it turned tornadic and started moving up into Lincoln County. Remember, we had 2 tornado warnings in Lincoln County at one time, one to the north, one to the south. It was the cell to the south that likely knocked out the power into portions of Park City and Fayetteville. And as Chelsea just mentioned, that cell is now moving to the east of Fayetteville, and it continues to move closer to areas like into Winchester area or Franklin County in Tennessee now. The line of rainfall, I'm just going to give you a quick little timeline on this. A lot of you very curious. If you haven't had anything yet, you're like, what is going on? What are you all talking about? I haven't had a drop of rain at my house, and that's because it still hasn't made it to you yet. So at 1 o'clock, we know we have the rain pretty much parallel 65. It's moving into Decatur now, and then we continue to watch this shift off to the east, and there'll be waves and pockets of very heavy rainfall, potentially damaging winds. This is all going to continue right into the morning hours. Now, I don't want to say that this tornado threat is going to go completely away, because I don't feel comfortable saying there's a non-zero chance, and I feel comfortable saying to you at home to stay weather aware overnight through the morning for the potential for heavy rainfall, flash flooding, and damaging winds. Could even have some small hail. Some of the storms will be electric and some vivid lightning as well. But, you know, Chelsea, I don't know how you feel about it, but I feel like the tornado threat may start to back off a bit and we turn this into a rain-wind event.
Hey, I completely agree, Jeff. I think, like you said, we'll still have to watch for potentially another wave of strong storms that could be moving in. The thing that we're watching right now is still a lot of wind shear, and with the low-level jet kicking in, that's what you're kind of seeing with some of these features. They almost look like tails, where you get the washboard effect from basically just the wind kicking up, the wind shear. This is going to be common, and we're still going to monitor for any brief spin ups. But again, as Jeff mentioned, this is going to end up being a heavy rainfall, maybe some brief gusty winds here and there. But the severe threat will be winding down quite quickly. This is not going to be a long duration severe weather event, where we'll track this well through 10 o'clock in the morning on Sunday. Please don't think that for any minute. Still could have some strong storms, and they're going to be noisy at times too. A lot of heavy rainfall, and just the rainfall rates might wake you up if you are not seeing any warnings as we head overnight. So again, tracking that severe warned storm has now been replaced by a severe thunderstorm warning. This is great news for areas into Franklin County. Still a lot of wind with this storm. Not seeing as much rotation, and that's probably why they went with the severe thunderstorm warning versus downstreaming the tornado warning. I'm going to go ahead and look at some of those wind speeds there. 55, 60 mile per hour winds possible. Worst of the winds going to miss you. Very close call though towards Huntland. Again, damaging straight line winds, maybe some smaller hail. I'd say 3/4 of an inch possible with this as well. Some nickel to quarter size hail. And I believe this new severe thunderstorm warning should go through 1 o'clock in the morning. And then this current tornado warning is going to be allowed to expire right on time at 12:30. This will be for both Madison and Lincoln County.
And Chelsea, as that rainfall moves in the Decatur area, highly populated city, covered that with a little bit of wind too, probably moving in. I wouldn't say that the wind really jumps out when I take a look at the wind detection, the velocity, maybe some 40-mile-an-hour winds as it moves into Decatur. You know what I would like to pull up too? I have the Decatur camera. Let me see where I can find it, and I do have it here. I imagine the rainfall is starting to come down pretty heavy in the Decatur area, especially the more west and northwest you are, and there it is for you too. That's a very old camera that we have there. Let me go ahead and get the one that has the actual right banner on there, but nonetheless getting a little bit in the way of some very heavy rainfall in Decatur now as we continue to see that line start to move a bit closer to the 565 corridor. We haven't had much rain. There was a brief shower earlier, and that moved pretty far to the north, but I think for the most part starting to see now areas, what I call the traffic triangle, getting into a little bit of that rain right along Athens to Decatur, back into Huntsville, making its way into 565. And it was that area that I just pointed out with some of the winds right into here. Could be picking up some wind gusts about 30, 40 miles an hour. That's below severe criteria, but still an impact at this hour. I mean, if you're in Decatur, you haven't had anything happen. Hopefully you know that the storms were still going to be moving into your area after midnight, and here they are, and it packs a punch with some rainfall and some winds, probably about 35, 40 miles an hour. That extends north along 65 and 31, and if you're in the Hartselle area, you're going to have some heavy rainfall moving into your area shortly, and also if you're down towards Vinemont, Speak. It's getting to you now. And this is a wall of rain just going east and affecting 72, 565, and eventually making it to Huntsville probably by about 1 o'clock.
And yeah, Jeff, just as you say that, the National Weather Service started issuing what we call, well, you know what they're called, but for those of you at home, special weather statements. And basically, it's just a strong thunderstorm. It's not reaching severe criteria. We look at wind speeds 58 miles per hour or higher, and quarter size hail or hail that's an inch in diameter. And these are not quite there, but they are enough to potentially cause minor damage. Your power could still go out and it could still alarm you. So some 40-mile-per-hour wind gusts, just like you said, some pea-sized hail possible, mainly on the leading edge of these storms as it continues to track through parts of the Tennessee Valley. The tornado warning is going to continue. This is for now just Lincoln, Moore County. Madison County has been canceled out of the tornado warning through 12:30, but should be allowed to expire after that. No signs of them reissuing a tornado warning downstream. That's been replaced with that severe thunderstorm warning in Franklin County. And right now, trends are looking really, really good. Again, I hate to say that the severe threat completely over. We're still going to watch quite closely for maybe even some brief spin-ups that try to sneak back in. But overall, we're noticing a weakening trend, which is good. There's still some appendages and notches we want to keep a close eye on as this line pushes in. And this has been the overall theme. The most intense storms have been on the leading edge, but there's not a lot of lightning at all. And the instability values, especially in the model data earlier, just had them basically dropping, decreasing, going to big goose eggs once we headed into the overnight hours. So that's going to always be a good thing. We'll still have to watch the wind shear. It's quite high. But right now, all signs are indicating that the severe weather threat could be winding down, not completely right now, but here shortly as we head throughout the rest of the overnight hours. A lot of wind coming in with this storm. Now moving into Franklin County, Deckard, Winchester, several locations going to be affected by this. Not seeing much twisting and turning of the winds, just straight line wind damage for the most part. Still looking at 60-mile-per-hour winds more than likely with this. And maybe some hail as well. I'm going to look at the shear rate. Shear rate popping up in those features, but again, most of this just looking like straight line wind damage versus tornado damage.
Yeah, unfortunately too, Chelsea, I'm just going to kind of recap for everybody. The number of reports we're getting in really highly concentrated in the Elgin, Killen, Rogersville area. I'm sure the Shoals as well. We did have some video. I don't mean to catch you guys off guard back there, but if we could show that video of that tree down that was in Elgin, I do believe, and it was on 72. And you can see obviously some damage there. Numerous reports of trees down, everybody. Last check was 700 outages in the Lincoln County area for Fayetteville and for Park City. 2,000 outages in the Rogersville area. An area that seemed to be hit very hard was the Aqua Vista area. That also extends into the Elgin area right along 72, just south of 72. If you're driving down Houston Town Road and you get to Malibu Lane, there was a tree down on the road there as well. Now we're seeing that line of storms maybe not producing as much in the way of the strongest of winds, but still gusts 40 miles an hour and still some very heavy rainfall. And I don't want to play down that this is not having a big impact on where we are on the radar right now, but we're seeing maybe the rotation on the north side of this backing off just a little bit. We still have some heavy rain to deal with. We still have some gusty winds, and you can see that on the radar. The winds themselves will be picking up as you work into Huntsville, west of Huntsville shortly, getting close to Madison right now. Decatur, you're starting to get into that heavy rainfall. And another area that we're going to keep an eye on is off to the south. There's this surge that maybe another line will develop as we go into tonight that could enhance some of the rainfall and winds. And it's that lightning that you see in the Hamilton area up towards Russellville that we'll be keeping an eye on here during the overnight hours. If anything pops, of course, we're going to keep updates coming for you. But we know rain can be bad. It can cause flooding. We know winds can be strong. Even 40-mile-an-hour winds are still strong. And that's why we're going to keep updates coming throughout the night and right into the morning on Sunday.
Yes, Jeff, that tornado warning again to our north. This is going to be for Lincoln, Moore counties. That's going to expire at 12:30. So in the next 4 minutes, less than 5 minutes from now, severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Franklin County. Strong storms starting to push in for several areas. This includes Harvest, back into Meridianville, heads up Madison. This will be pushing into I-565. Also the Metro Huntsville area within the next 15 to 30 minutes if it doesn't completely slow down. Priceville now moving into you. Lacey Spring, Owens Crossroad, it's going to take some time. I'd say within the next 45 minutes. And there's going to likely be a big gust of wind on the leading edge. I'd say 40 miles per hour like we've been saying for the past several minutes. Some pea-sized hail possible with this. Hartselle, Falkville, Speak, heavy rain back towards Moulton. Seeing some lightning strikes in and around places like Phil Campbell. It is, I wouldn't say intensifying, but just very, very noisy back here. All the way through Haleyville, Hackleburg, Hamilton. Gonna look at the velocity data real quick. And yeah, it's not rotating, just very strong winds potentially moving through there.
Yeah, and that actually, we have something that can verify what you just said too, is in the Vina Hodges and Hackleburg area where those storms look very electric that you just showed, Chelsea, getting reports of some modest power outages now, about 100 to 200. But yeah, that's a lot of lightning strikes that you just showed there. Very electric storms now moving through areas of Hackleburg and eventually moving to the east as well, the Double Springs here shortly. So that's where your most lightning is, but the whole line itself extending all the way up into portions of central Tennessee and then back into the areas of Franklin County and in Alabama, starting to see some heavy rainfall. That's going to shift into the Huntsville area here shortly, Chelsea.
And yeah, Jeff, we'll have to watch quite closely for any kind of re-intensification as we head later on this evening. Right now, main impacts, again, a lot of lightning, some gusty winds, small hail, not seeing any rotation, and hopefully the tornado threat will be ending here quite soon as we head through the early morning hours on Sunday. Now note, when the severe weather threat ends, the flash flooding threat is going to pick up, and it's going to pick up quite quickly. We are expecting several inches of rainfall, a very short period of time. Some places very well picking up 5 to 7 inches, as this is going to continue to be a slow moving system. There could be more power outages throughout the night, potential downed trees. Note, lightning can cause power outage as well. You don't necessarily need to have wind. Still make sure your devices are charged. You have multiple ways to receive warnings. If you are looking for weather alerts throughout the night, you can always download our 48 First Alert weather app if you haven't already. Most of our devices nowadays, our phones, give those alerts to us automatically, but just please make sure you are keeping up with the latest. Please pay close attention to updates as we give them to you throughout the evening. This tornado warning about to expire here in portions of Lincoln, also Moore County, right at 12:30 on the dot. Less than 5 seconds from now, we do still have that severe thunderstorm warning in effect for portions of Franklin County. This is not tornadic. Main impact still going to be damaging straight line wind gusts, but not seeing any signs that we could see an additional tornado warning, so we likely will be sending this to your regular scheduled programming here soon. Jeff, any more updates here before we send it back?
We had a 62-mile-an-hour wind in Lincoln County and Fayetteville. We figured that when we saw the storm that moved through there. We knew that there was certainly some damage probably in Lincoln County. The tornado watch, I want to talk about that for a moment. Starting to see counties trimmed off on this now. So Wayne County into Tennessee, Lawrence County, Tennessee, and also into Giles County, no longer in the tornado watch at this time. A lot of you in DeKalb and Jackson and Marshall, and if you live south into portions of along I-59, hey, you know, are we going to get in the tornado watch? I don't think this tornado watch is going to be extended east. Now, I don't make that call. Chelsea doesn't either. It's done through the conjunction of SPC and also to the National Weather Service, but no indications that this tornado watch is going to be added to as we go into the overnight hours. Obviously, if it does, we'll be the first to let you know. But right now, starting to see the back or the northwestern portions that were in the tornado watch getting trimmed back already. The tornado watch that is there now goes till 3 a.m. I would imagine that we'll start seeing more counties trimmed off on the backside of this here shortly. And I would think too now, Chelsea, with no tornado warnings active at this point, what I can do is you probably need to get some sleep. You've been here all day covering these storms. And what we could do is do a little switcheroo and get things started. Maybe cut the Facebook Live off for a little while and then maybe start it right back up. And I'll keep tracking the storms with the rain for you overnight. But Chelsea's worked hard covering those tornado warnings and certainly could probably use a little bit of a break off that green screen. Am I right?
Hey, you're right. And thank you, Jeff. He is going to be tracking the storms through the rest of the overnight hours and early morning hours with you. Pretty soon, this is going to become a flooding event with periods of heavy rainfall through much of the day on Sunday. For now, we'll toss it back to your regular scheduled programming. Make sure you tune in for more updates on air online. Jeff Denoyer has you covered.